I made these DIY curtain rod and curtain rod holders out of electrical hardware or electrical mounting hardware from Home Depot. I took this L bracket and a washer and this other piece. I don't know exactly what this does, but mounting electrical boxes and stuff like that. So who knows? Um, what I did was I took this piece flat and I took this off of there, and then I took this L bracket, welded it to this piece. You can see the welds here, here, and over here. And then I took this washer and welded it to the top of this hole because these holes are 1/2 inch holes. And um, what that would allow me to do is put a proper size screw in there, but even that washer was a little too big. It just happened to be what I had at the time. So these are the drywall screws that I anticipated on using, and I still have to use a smaller screw so it doesn't slip through there. But I probably could have welded that one on there, but it was kind of thin and I didn't want to blow through it. But if I had it to do over again, I like the way that it came out, and I'll show you with the this EMT 10-foot piece of 1/2 inch EMT. I'll show you how that actually looks here in a second, or give you a good idea of how it looks, because I don't have it mounted to the wall yet. Um, but what I could have done is actually taken this washer and welded it to the back, and the front would then look like this, and the screw would inset in there and kind of be hidden a little bit, and you could either possibly fill that in with some silicone with maybe a little bit of silver paint on top of it or something along those lines if you don't like the hole. But I happen to like the industrial look that it had. I just if I would have had a different washer, I would have only welded one washer on there as opposed to having these two. And I went ahead and put this piece back on there just to give it a finished industrial look. It serves no purpose. It may help in preventing the rod to the little piece of EMT that I'm using from slipping back, but it doesn't matter. Once it gets set up, the rod seats in there pretty well. But that's pretty much it. So it's this little U-bolt right here and this plate are all one piece at Home Depot. And I'll leave the part numbers in the description. And then this angle is comes in a couple of different varieties. There's actually one that's 4 inches this way and 4 inches this way, and it has two holes in each. And for heavier material, it might give you a different look and be a little bit more substantial. But for the curtain rod, or for the piece of EMT that I'm using as a curtain rod, this was just the perfect size. And if you'll notice, this piece of angle actually is longer in this dimension than it is in this dimension, and that was on purpose, so I could get it a little bit higher so I could easily screw it in without it being in the way or having to drill down into it. So I just take this piece, put it up against the wall, and then screw that into a stud, and it holds the curtain and the rod pretty well. Like I said, I may have modified that a little bit different, but that's not necessarily the look that I was going for, and I only realized it after I did it anyway. So what I did is I took these two pieces, I mounted them on the stud, and then this is a 1/2 inch EMT that you can find in the electrical aisle as well too, probably in the same aisle at Home Depot. And this just sits right in there like that. Of course, it's 10 feet long, so, and then that seats in there, and then you put your curtain in between here, and that's it. This little U-bolt may have had nuts on it at one point in time when I bought it new, and I probably would have left those on there if I would have thought about it. I think it may have given it a different look. The other cool thing is you can use this threaded piece to mount other pieces of hardware too. They make a female threaded hexagon bolt that's probably an inch long, inch and a half, 2 inches long, and you could thread that on there and put rods out of the bottom of it if you wanted to hang like candle holders. Yeah, that's real smart. Candle holders right next to a curtain. If you wanted to hang some other decorative devices off of it that wouldn't burn your house down. I had to actually take a hammer and bang these things in there for whatever reason. My welds got a little too close and made the holes close in a little bit, so it wasn't as easy to get those rods back in there. But that's what it looks like. All you need is a welder, or you can get somebody to weld it for you. If this takes more than 5 minutes for somebody who has their welder set up, that would be probably too long. And then I didn't paint it or anything. I just brushed it with a 4.5-inch brush wheel and cleaned it off and made it look a little bit better. But that inherently takes some of the stainless out of that. So if you could do me a favor and give me a thumbs up if you like it, and let me know if there's anything else that you would do in comments.